everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tekkit Classic with the CrazyGrape. And it's me, the CrazyGrape. And in this episode, I want to start working on a hatch to get in and out of the base. And the way I'm thinking of doing it is by using ComputerCraft, by having a computer set up somewhere down here that has a wireless modem attached to it. And then the way we activate it is by placing down a wireless turtle outside that has the program in it, entering in whatever the program details are, and then the hatch opens. And so yeah, I think we should get started with that now. As you can see, I've already placed down the frames. What I'm thinking that the actual door itself should look like is just the basalt, because that's overall a pretty nice look. I think it would look good. And so what we need to do is we need to set it up in such a way that all of the components here can be slid in without rubbing against each other, because of the way these frames work, they can't really have any connected edges. So let's see here. We need to have all of these covered up, and then we're going to need to have the frame set up in such a way that it can both be opened and closed. So, how are we going to do this is one of the biggest questions. What I was thinking was having it is such a mechanism that it's like, okay, so there are 4 different motors, and each of them slide in 2 blocks, except for this one, which also contains like the 3rd thing. Some of the timing might be a bit tricky, like we might have to have this one be a little bit delayed. Overall, I'm probably going to have to figure out some of the timings. But let's see. So if we want to have these done a certain way, after this one is slid in, we're going to need it to be slid down by this. So we're going to need these on all 4 sides, or all 4 corners, I guess. Alright, we need another cover right here. And then we're also going to need a way to slide these in and down. But first I think we're going to need to slide them down like this. Oh, dang it. I wonder if we're going to have to come up with some way to do it that works. Basically what I'm saying here is that maybe we need to have these set up so that they're a block or 2 up in order to allow the frames to be moved, unless we can somehow rotate these motor frames. But I don't know that we can. Yeah, I'm probably going to do a bit with this and see if I can get that working. Just overall, like on one side, maybe try and get these 2 working together, because I think this is going to be what causes the most problems unless I go with a different design. So, I'll be right back. So one of the things in getting this setup working that we're going to have to figure out is how we're going to do power gen. And what I think might be one of the best options given the overall nature of our structure is to use thermopiles. I mean, we might be able... Is there any sort of just regular generator? I don't know if there is. Here, let me check actually real quick. Right now. See, how can we generate stuff? We've got a blue alloy furnace, battery box furnace. Yeah, so we're basically limited to the thermopile and solar panel. And of the 2, thermopiles are a bit easier to do. One of the things though, we're going to need ice, which I don't have a silk touch pickaxe, so I'm probably going to make use of the mob farm up here until I can manage to actually get one. Fingers crossed, let's hope that it happens in the only 1 or 2 tries, but given my track record, got a lot of fortune picks, but not a lot of other required enchants. Unless there's some other way of getting ice. Wait, maybe there is. Let's see. Ice. Oh, yeah, that's a way. That's probably easier, actually. Let's do that instead. Alright. And then I think we can craft this with our Ring of Arcana? Yes. And then it turns to a different color. How was it that you changed the color? I forgot. Okay, it was C. I just didn't want to, like, accidentally activate an ignition ring in my base. That would not be very good. Okay, so we've got ice for the thermopiles. And so they needed, I believe it was blue doped wafer, and they need copper and iron. Oh, what were the other things? Let's see. Okay, so it was copper, iron, and the blue alloy ingots. I've had a lot of these cooking up. Let's toss those in there, get more. I think 8 thermopiles should be more than enough. Maybe we should, I don't know, let's make 8 total, but only use 4 of them for now unless we end up needing more. Now, one of the questions is, does it require... Okay, no, it doesn't. I was wondering if it required the RedPower copper, and that would be a little bit unfortunate. Okay, so now I think we have everything necessary in order to actually start working on this, so that we can get the frames working and everything else. Okay. Where do we want to put these? Let's have like a layer of padding, so that, actually let's make it out of obsidian. I don't really want to have to worry about this breaking too often. Or maybe we could do it out of even something like red matter blocks. Or let's do it out of dark matter blocks here. So we've got this here. And so the way we have to do this is we can have up to, I believe, 2 pairs. And so we have to decide which axis we want to be accessible with the power. And I kind of want the wire to be able to place it like this. And so we'll be able to place ice on the bottom and top, as well as on the left and the right. So let's do that now. So we got ice, or maybe we should, this probably isn't important ultimately, but here, wait, there we go. So we've got that on the bottom, and then on the top we're gonna put the ice. I'm just thinking in terms of like thermodynamics, it would probably be more efficient. Like it really doesn't mean anything in the actual power generation to my knowledge. Oh, what? No. Don't do that. Oh, great. No. Come on. There we go. And that should work. Let's get the battery box put down. And actually, let's place that dark matter block there. Make it symmetrical just so that the lava doesn't drip down. And how do we want to do this much? It's probably going to be easier if we just go like this. And then from there, have it connect to a battery box. And I'm just going to repeat this on all 4 sides. I'll see when that's done. Alright, so I'm back. I've built the thermopiles, and it seems that ice caused either the ice to melt or the lava to turn into obsidian. The water in lava seems to be a bit more stable at the cost of a bit of less power output, so yeah, that's a bit of a bummer, I guess. But it's just something that we're gonna have to deal with, I suppose. So the next step would be, I suppose, to get everything wired up. Here, let's do that. And now we need to figure out how we want to wire everything, because this is probably going to be a mess with like redstone and stuff. Oh man. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to figure out. Maybe we're going to want to wire this up differently. We might be able to get this figured out because we can send wires to both of these individually. But first off, we need to get a system that works. Like, we need to have a way to slide these in, to slide them back out, and to allow them to be pushed down and back up. And in some ways, we'd probably actually want to move these ones up so that in order to slide them down, they can only slide them down so far. And then these can only slide them up so much, which is actually a good way of doing things, so that it mechanically can't go further than that. This does make it a bit more complicated in terms of getting it to work, like getting the power to all of them, but I guess that's a price we're going to have to pay. This is quickly turning into something that's a bit more complicated than I thought. It'd probably be a lot easier if we were to just have one singular panel, but I think this looks a lot cooler. So I'm going to try and get more of this figured out. Get some of the frame motors placed down, get some sort of basic red alloy wire set up so that we can potentially automate it. You know what? I just realized something, and it's that we have all of this space to work with because of the nature of frame motors. We don't have to have it all compressed near the center here. We can actually have it spread out pretty far. So I'm actually going to adjust some of this stuff. Let's like break these alloy wires and stuff. Come up with a design that doesn't require everything to be so smushed close together, because we've got quite a bit of space to work with, and we can have the frames manipulating stuff like all the way back here if we want to. We don't have to, yeah. So I'm gonna do that. I was adapting this so that I'd be able to pull everything out a bit better, and this will actually end up making it more compact as well, because we'll be able to push everything together right here and then push it down instead of having to push it all together up here and then pushing it down. So yeah. Alright, so I just realized something. I didn't have to break the things in the middle because we need to actually have these motors here in order to push these down to the level we want to kind of work with them at. Unfortunately, because I hooked up some of the motors earlier, they drained all of the power out of the battery boxes, so it's going to be a little while before these fill up. But after that happens, we'll be able to continue work on the door or hatch design. So that's going to be cool. We just gotta wait for those. You know what though, actually, while we're doing that, we can probably work on getting some sort of program worked out that actually does what we need it to. So we've got just turtles right now. We want a wireless turtle that can communicate with a computer. So let's see, we've got a computer, we've got a wireless modem, and then didn't we have another wireless turtle? Or is it? Yeah, I don't know where that went. Or did I still have it placed down there outside? Let's see. Oh yeah, I do. Whoops. Oh well. Alright. So where are we gonna have this computer placed down? I'm thinking, let's put it like here. And have the wireless modem. Yeah, we'll put it on top. Because we're gonna have to output on all four sides. That's actually gonna be a bit tricky, come to think of it. How are we gonna tell it? No, wait, I know how we can do this. We can have it so that certain sides simply tell, like, all four of whatever to do a certain motion. And we can maybe have a few, use the other two sides to do something specifically for this one, which is going to be a little bit weirder than normal, just because of the way it works. So, and I'm probably going to have to do a bit more research into how the RedNet API works. Are there even like RedNet cables, I wonder? No, I think it's just RedNet. Like that's the wireless. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do actually is I'm going to copy the startup program off of the disk drive and essentially have it so that it just resets every time you enter the password. So this computer is going to be specifically just to open and close the door. And when you successfully enter in the password, it opens it, and then after you stop, then it basically just toggles it. So I'm going to have this computer right here keep track of signals being sent to it, and whatever signal it ends up getting, we're just going to have it like toggle it on and off, and if it's on, then it does the necessary procedures to close it, and if it's off, then it does the necessary procedures to open it. And we're probably going to want to do it in such a way that it locks itself, such that it cannot just suddenly start trying to open it back up. Like, it either opens it until it's complete or it closes it until it's complete. So let's do it. I'm probably going to do this off camera because it's not very easy to talk about what you're doing while you're doing it. So let's see, let's copy, wait. So now I've copied the startup program. Now, I don't know if it tells you what my password is right here. It's not a password I use for anything, but I may end up cutting if it shows the password, just because. You know, we can actually just have this such that we simply tell it to open or close and it does it. That might be an easier way. Like, I don't necessarily think we need a password in order to open the door. I mean, we could, but we don't need to. So, I think we'll just be like, okay, so, or maybe we should have it so that there are like buttons that you push, and it's like you either select open or close, and then it like tells you the current state. I don't know, there are a lot of ways we can do it. I think right now the easiest way to do it is like, okay, so open or close the door, and then if we don't need to have this code right here that's like, have it say that there is asterisks. So open or close the door, and we're gonna want to, let's see. Yeah, I don't know how much of this I want to do on camera. I feel like a bit mentally fried when I have to do several different things at the same try. But here, let's just do it. For now, I'll do this on camera. So let's figure this out together, guys. Ah man, this takes forever to delete. So what I want this to be case insensitive so that you can put caps in it and have it not really care about it. So what we want to do here is, if this is correct, so if input string, no wait, how do we do this? If string dot lower, and then we feed it input, if that equals, or that evaluates to open, then we will tell it, alright, so what we're actually going to do is have checks here. So let's see, opening the door. And then, I don't know, we'll maybe have it like some sort of code here to wait for when the door is open. Like here, wait, let's do sleep, like, let's have it sleep for 2 seconds, or just 1. And then just say, door opened. And so, in reality, it's going to take a lot longer, which is why we're going to have it sleep, or not necessarily sleep, but wait until it receives word from the computer up here that it has done it. Or maybe we can just time it out and like find out how long it takes. And so another thing we're going to want to do is, okay, so above this else statement, we want to delete all this. Okay, and so string dot lower input equals close. Oh wait, we can't do delete. Man, ComputerCraft's user interface has gotten a lot better in future versions. I forgot how bad this was. Let's see, lower input equals close, then we want it to say the door is closing, and we need it to end. So print door is closing. Okay, and just making sure I ended this. Was it else if or else space if? I think it was else if. Just the way that works. And then for the last bit, under the last else up here, we want it to, wait, actually, after it prints that the door is done, whatever, we want it to sleep for a little bit so that it keeps that displayed. And so, I'm probably sounding a bit scatterbrained here. Oh, and I need to have this print. And this is like, what's up with my formatting here? Wait, so oh, I was indenting them with 1 space or something? Whatever. And so we need to have this print, not just like have the text door opened there, because that's gonna throw some errors. Yeah, my formatting here is a bit messy, but I mean the program should work. So it clears, it does that, it sleeps for however many seconds, and if none of that works, we want it to print out that the input is invalid and then end the loop after sleeping for 1 second. Print invalid input. Alright, so let's save it. And so, finally, if we take our computer here, we're going to definitely need to get it hooked into the red net to get it communicating with the other one, but this is just basic, you know, the bones, the shell. Wait. What did we just... I forgot to set a label on it. That's what happened. So... that's what I forgot to do. So I'm gonna have to go through and edit that again. But I think right now these frames should have power now. No, they don't. Dang, how long is this thing gonna take? Dang. Wow, all of that time and it's still not. This may not be as viable a method as I initially thought, but we're gonna have to just kind of wait. Maybe the whole thing with this is once it's charged, it shouldn't really need to activate and deactivate all that often. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm gonna re-enter all of the code in on the turtle here. Alright, so I got the program working again. So now you can say open, open, you can say it like this, and it opens. You can even mix the case, like, and it does it. So, and it closes it as well. You know, the code doesn't actually do anything, but if we hold down Control T and then edit startup. Now there were some bugs while I was making this. For instance, input. Last time I was doing this, I completely deleted it, but we need the variable here. What I should have deleted was just the little bit right here that changes what it reads it as or displays it as. But yeah, that's fixed now. The other thing is that with if-then statements, you don't want to end those until you get to the very end after the else. So it just goes if, and then you do the code, and then else if, or just else, and then after the else, you end it. So yeah, there's that. And I had this is basically a bit of code up here that makes it so that you can't hold down Control T to terminate it. And I have that commented out via these 2 dashes so that it doesn't do that, because we still got some stuff that we gotta edit with the code. And we might do that once we get everything working, but you definitely don't want to make it so that it's like stuck in the program. I think there are other ways that you can like break through the program if it does that, but you need a disk drive, I think, with a startup program that overrides it, and it's more work than it's worth. You know, it's easier to just do it like this and not have it be a problem. Oh, but now these machine frames have finally gotten some power, and I've been doing a bit with that, but yeah, this has ended up being a lot more ended up taking a lot more time than I expected, but we're gonna get this finished up in the next episode, make it actually work, get the programming working, but I'm out of time for this one, so I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one, if you enjoyed this one. Alright, take care.